Good morning, good morning. Hey everybody, how you doing? Charles here. And listen, it's Friday and I gotta bring you the best of the best on Friday. I've been looking for somebody that can keep us hyped on a Friday, moving into the weekend. And I think I found that person. So if you want to get hyped like I am, let's go. Please welcome to the show my special guest. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Love it.
How you doing?
I am here. I am with you, so I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I have to tell everybody. Usually, when we start the show, I do a sound check, right? And in my sound check, I always ask everybody to do ABCs. So everybody's like A, B, C, and I'm like, okay, just sound check, do ABCs. My girl just belted out some wicked R&B ABCs. I was like, oh, okay then. That's how we're gonna roll. Okay, not a problem. So come on, you gotta give us a little bit of ABCs before we get into this. Come on.
A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P. Now, don't forget, I spent my first part of my career being a music teacher, so I taught that. I love that. I could train on that, how to use music to think better creatively in business and entrepreneurship. So that's what I'm about.
There you go. See, if you didn't get woken up right now you are. Thanks for being with us. But let's get back. Let's backtrack because we want to know, okay, what were you doing way back? So let's go back when you were a little girl. What were you dreaming of? What were you thinking of growing up? Where did you come from? Let's give some background.
I was that MacGyver type of mind. I'm talking about like getting paper clips and tape and popcorn tins and creating the next just like the bomb of my apple pies or just whatever. And I saw Mary Poppins, so I got on my roof and with an umbrella and jumped off, So that was my life. We were talking about intercultural creativity today, and I say I'm not the inventor of intercultural creativity. My mom was. She knew to create a culture in our home of exploration, curiosity. We were a single parent family, not a lot of money. We were on free and reduced lunch, but she saved her money and threw us in the van, and we drove all the way to Niagara Falls. And to read about Niagara Falls in a book is one thing. To stand there and feel the rumbling and feel the mist, completely different experience. So that's my childhood of adventure, curiosity. And if you didn't have what you needed, you made a way and you were creative about it.
Okay, so now I see this little person, grabbing stuff, breaking it apart, putting it back together. Where did that involve to? Where did that take you to the next level? What came out of that?
Well, I've always asked myself, what's next? What's next? I knew I didn't want the life of, okay, I get a job and I work that job for 30 years. I retire, get a watch and just wait to die. My thinking was, what is the next level of growth for me? So that was embedded in our psyche and our identity because of the culture my mother created. So even, I went to UCLA and just looking for different opportunities, and I went into education. I taught elementary education for 15 years and also taught at the university level, creative thinking and intercultural development. And even leaving the classroom in 2019, 6 months before the pandemic hit, because I love my students, I love teaching, but my heart was like, okay, I tell people I didn't leave the classroom, I only expanded my walls. So going from 20 amazing young kids to the global classroom is now my thing, because I'm always asking, okay, what's next? How can I take the wisdom that I have to the next level?
Okay, so now tell us how it was for you with the teaching aspect first before we move on. What joy did you get out of it? You said you're a music teacher.
So I started as a third grade teacher, general ed. I have my teaching credential in the multi-subject area. So I taught all the subjects at the elementary age. And
Okay.
that's beauty because even with the work that I do now about intercultural creativity and that type of cognitive development, you were your highest, people are at their highest creative potential around 5 years old. And by the
Oh.
time they graduate high school, they're
Mhm.
about 10% of their great creative genius. And by the time you hit 30, just because of systems, cultures, and people forcing you to think a certain way,
Right.
2% of the population has held on to that creative genius level because of that. And so that's where my work comes in, of getting people back there. But because I started my career at elementary ed, I got to work with the best creative minds and see how they connected the unconnected, see how they use their imagination skills, and how they did functional agility, which is your ability to look at an object and use it in the different way than it's originally used. Like MacGyver, he had a high functional agility. Most adults operate in functional fixedness, where
Right.
we're fixed on that one way the object is used. And that's why a child, you can buy them a gift and they play with the gift for 2 minutes and then they play with the box for like 2 hours. That's functional agility. And that's what adults have to get back to.
I spend my money for this kid, and all the kid wants to do is play with the box. I'm like, here, look, push the button. They don't care about the button. It makes a noise. They don't care about the noise. The box is pretty.
Because of the unlimited possibilities of a cardboard box.
Gotcha. Okay, so if I'm giving you the power, the title, you could go in and change our curriculum for students. What would you do? What would you change?
Well, I say I'm in Los Angeles area, so I say, like really changing the curriculum in LASD is like moving the Titanic. Like you see the iceberg, but it's like, it could take 10 years to really do something. So what I do, I work with corporations and organizations because the workforce needs a shift fast, but the kids do as well, because your formative years of thinking is from 0 to 12. So if you can really get that identity solidified of that intercultural creative identity, there's the work. So I just train, I do go into schools as well, but we train teachers and the specialists to integrate intercultural creative thinking strategies within the curriculum. You don't have to get a whole new curriculum, and that's what I did. If you're teaching planets, you can integrate metaphorical thinking. You can integrate functional agility. You can integrate these creative strategies within what you're already teaching. It's just you need to identify what creativity is, because a lot of people think creativity is just artistry. And so they're around saying, I'm not creative, because they can't sing like Whitney Houston, they can't dance like Justin Timberlake. And so the more that they're saying they're not creative, guess what? I'm a big brain person. And by the way, I do have props. And so if your subconscious brain is hearing that you're not creative, I'm not creative, guess what? The brain shuts off. And so you're basically fulfilling that self-prophecy that you're not creative, because you think creativity is only artistry when it's so much more.
Okay, so I'm thinking now, what question can I ask you? Because I want to know what props you have on that table is going to come up.
You'll just have to wait and see. Let's see if you can pull it
there
out.
we go. So then here's the ultimate question, because when I do a podcast, I have a podcast called Jump. All right, your success is waiting. You never know what's going to happen until you jump. Okay, I know it's scared, but when you land, great things are happening. When did you know it was your time to jump? Because you're at one point in your life, and you said just before the pandemic, you knew something just told you, okay, this is my time. So what was that thing that told you to jump?
And that's a great topic for a podcast, because people really need to hear that. And you do get inspired by other people's stories. So I'm so glad you're allowing people to go to a platform with that information. For me, it was that inner self-awareness. Part of my training, we do self-awareness, other awareness, and cultural awareness. And in order to be a highly creative thinker, you have to be self-aware. And so my last year, I just felt it. It was like, okay, I think I'm done here. And I worked at the same school for 15 years. I didn't school hop or whatever. And the year that I worked there, the first year, that was the first year it was founded. So I was there with hard hats. So I was there at the beginning of that school's, inception. And to leave, because, I thought I was going to be there for the next 30 years, to leave and say that. But I knew that if I would have stayed another year, I would be in the wrong place. Okay. And that's where self-reflection comes in, self-awareness, and understanding your emotional and cognitive messages that your intuition is giving you. So I had to jump. And guess what? People jump with things laid out. And my board member said, "Oh, are you going to a different school?" I was like, if I was going to a different school, I would just stay here, because this is, a great place. But she asked me where I was going, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't necessarily recommend that for everyone. Of course, we had savings up and everything, but I knew this idea of intercultural creativity needed to get out there. I just didn't know the exact game plan. I knew I wanted to be a speaker. I just wrote my first book about debt to destiny, creating financial freedom from the inside out, about how your creative health affects your financial wealth. They're tied, right? But I didn't know exactly what it looked like. I just know I needed to get out there and get the message out to corporations, organizations, and school districts about this important topic. Little did I know we had a pandemic right around the corner, and it shot this important topic up to everyone's, the top of everyone's mind. So it was perfect timing. And I believe I have the perfect idea I'm the right person with the right idea at the right time.
All right. So here's the main question. Were you scared?
Oh, of course. But
Great.
one tip I give people is being mindful of your naming of your emotions. You know, when you name your emotions, that's very powerful.
Mhm.
And if you look physiologically at how your body responds to fear and how your body responds to excitement, they're actually the same physiological responses. So you have palpitations of the heart, you have, sweaty glands or whatever. And I just switched the name. I said, I'm no longer fearful. This is what happened to me when I did my first TED Talk. And coming from a speech therapy room to the TEDx stage is a whole other show
Yep.
by itself. Um, but but I switched the name. I'm not fearful of going to that red dot. I'm excited. I'm excited to share my message. I'm excited to see my students in the audience cheering me on. I'm excited that my video will be on the TED site and I get to share the importance of creative literacy and entrepreneurship literacy with the world. So once I switched the name, it was a game changer.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to dive into now your core of business, how you're helping people, what you're doing. You're doing a lot of special things. We're going to dive right into it, but we're going to hear from Carolyn Dickinson. She's got a special offer from me to you, so stay tuned. Here we go.
Thanks, Charles. I'm Carolyn Dickinson, and I'm here to tell you that the Life Success Board systems are live. These success boards have massive impact. The system will allow you to be able to envision that anything is possible for every area of your life. It'll give you direction, it'll give you focus, and it'll keep you moving forward. There are 8 success board systems available to you, plus bonuses. So for more information on this amazing system, click the link below. You don't want to miss it. Back to you, Charles.
CMJ Entertainment is a one-stop shop. CMJ Entertainment helps people do any type of events, and it's a marketing tool as well. So we'll cover everything from start to finish. If it's a wedding, we'll make sure your wedding is over the top. And if it's an event, we make sure that everybody gets information at the end of the day. Give us a call at 416-414-8964 or online, go to cmjent.com. Yes, we are back live. And listen, during the break, I had some comments coming in. So I just want to shut them up because I think you were saying one thing and she's like, so true, so true. So there you go. Thank you so much for leaving your comments.
Shakira.
I love putting them on the screen. So, join us in the conversation and just keep putting them up. All right. So before we went to break, we want to talk about diving into the business. So let's dive in. There we go. So tell us a little bit about the business, the idea behind it, and why. We talked about that, but, fine tune it for us.
Sure. Creative thinking is now the number one needed skill in the workplace per the World Economic Forum. It is very important, but like I said before, a lot of people don't really understand what creativity means. A lot of them just think it's artistry, but creative thinking we're redefining as the process of problem finding and problem solving with relevance, value, and novelty. And so highly creative thinkers are able to look for problems. They're observant, they're curious, and they just don't wait for problems to fall in their lap. And so we were doing a lot of training with that. And you'll see a few kids on my website because our goal is to get people back to their childlike creative thinking genius capacity. But I also realized that you can be very creative, but if you're in a toxic work environment, a work environment that's non-inclusive, a work environment where there's tons of microaggressions going on, or we call them subtle acts of exclusion, or a work environment where your leadership or your managers aren't interculturally competent, so they can't really connect with their team members, that affects the creative ability of your employees. So that's where the combination of intercultural creativity comes in, because I realized that the same skills needed to build intercultural competence, and you need intercultural competence to get from diversity to inclusion and belonging. The bridge between those two concepts is intercultural competence, which is your ability to be self-aware, other-aware, and culturally aware, and be able to shift perspectives and adapt to different cultural situations. That's a skill. And you might know people who they live life and they're only in their lane, and you need to see life from their perspective, or they don't, they don't really want to hear from you. So people with a monocultural mindset, they are thinking that way. People with the intercultural mindset, they really are observant. They see complexity, they see similarities and differences, and they know how to connect and respond and adapt and shift perspective. So to get to an inclusive culture that everyone feels like they're belonging, you have to have intercultural competence. And then that helps your creative thinking. So the last thing I'll say, think about that is they sit on the same set of skills. So once again, having an open growth mindset, being empathetic and having an openness to experience. The number one indicator of a highly creative thinker and a highly intercultural competent person is openness to experiences and openness to people. So if you're shutting people off because they're different than you, you're actually shutting off your own creative thinking ability as well. So you have your growth. Yes.
Okay.
So you have your growth mindset, your open heart. You have your observation. Being observant is a key skill that they both sit on. You have your curiosity, being curious about your environment, right, for creative thinking, but also being curious about other people with different lived backgrounds and experience. That affects them. And then having the ability to perspective shift. And then having the ability to adapt to different situations. And our last gem, because this is the 7 gems of intercultural creativity, the last goal that we want is to be a bridge. So you're so trained and so fluid in these skills that you're now a bridge to bridge different cultures, to bridge different people together, to bridge different creative ideas together, and to see connection where no one else sees connection.
All right. So, excuse me. I want to work with this person right here. Right here. I can see the fire in his eyes. This is the person I want to work with right there.
And you are. When people hire me and they bring me aboard to train, he's 3 now, and he was the thing that in your opening email you said, please be aware of noise makers. He's my noise maker. but if my goal is to get people back to their innate creative thinking abilities, I need to get back to where you were when you were 3, right? You didn't have the cultural constraints, the fear that stopped you from creating. And also, like I said before, kids have high functional agility. They have high observation. Have you been on a walk with a 3-year-old who stops and looks at a snail for about 10 minutes?
Yeah.
You and I would walk right past that, but they're so observant. And people who are great in their observational skills, not just sight, all of your senses. That's why babies put things in their mouth, because they're utilizing all of their gateways for information. So as we get older, we shut off our gateways. And if you don't have information, how can you connect the unconnected if you have nothing to connect? So and people can follow him. He's Sean, the Creative Kid, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. But what I do is I teach people how to think creatively through the eyes of a 3-year-old, and also parents. You know, there's a lot of parents who are afraid that they're squashing the creative genius of their kids without even knowing it. And we're all guilty if you work with kids or you're around kids or you've seen a kid, you know. And so how do you make sure you're not squashing their work?
All right. So there you go. Spell it out for them one more time if they're going to look at it.
That is Sean, the Creative Kid, and it's at the Creative Kid _SL.
There you go. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I go up there and follow. That is my little man. I like that. I love it a lot because it is. I realize that, you know, when you bring students up, and I love working with teens. You know, teens always have open mind. They want to try new things, or they ask questions. Once they get involved into something they love, it's like focused in. You know what I mean? It's like for my son, when he's playing video games or his fingers, they're just moving. And I don't know how he knows what button to push, what they're focused on, but they're just moving. They know what they're doing. So I love that aspect about what they do. But I see here you have a podcast. Talk to us about your podcast.
Sure. It's called the Create and Grow Rich. And, you know, that's kind of stolen from the Create and Think Rich, right, by Napoleon Hill, who did work with Andrew Carnegie. But I love Andrew Carnegie's work because, number one, he understood the importance of a mastermind concept. And he also understood the importance of your creative genius, right? Your creative health affects your financial wealth, right? And also that financial wealth isn't just for you. So the Create and Grow Rich podcast is inspired by that, meaning your creative health affects your financial wealth. But don't just create and grow rich financially, create and grow rich relationally, create and grow rich generationally, create and grow rich with purpose. And your creativity actually affects your physical health and your relational health. It affects so many areas of your life that we're not aware of. And a lot of people sadly pass on just because of a broken heart, because they weren't able to live their creative truth. So Create and Grow Rich is a podcast where I feature entrepreneurs, thought leaders. In fact, the last guest I have on there right now, she's a fire blower. She's brilliant. And she talks about the intercultural intersection of just, going around the world and just being with different types of people and opening up to experiences. So I bring you people with great stories. And then I highlight the 16 diamond tools of creative thinking and the 7 gems of intercultural creativity throughout the conversation. So people can see, hey, this person is doing this creative skill in their story. And so now you can highlight, oh, wait, I was thinking creatively when I was doing this. I was really open mind. I was making connections. I was, metaphorically thinking. That's a huge creative skill, to be able to metaphorically think. And it's a great show, great people. And every now and then I do have my diamond mentor moments sprinkled throughout the show, because our logo is a diamond.
I was like, this conversation ain't going anywhere. She hasn't brought a prop up yet, nothing.
There you go. Our logo is a diamond. I asked people, and this is a good question for you, Charles. If you could choose an animal to represent you, what would it be?
First thing that came to my head was a lion. Second one was an elephant.
Ooh, why the elephant?
The elephant is, the strongest animal out there. Even the lion is scared of an elephant, but he's calming, soft, and he's there. Like, he's very smart. Elephants are very smart. So
yeah, they are.
There you
they
go.
Are. So I like to do that because, well, our logo for our business is a diamond, because I believe everyone should shine bright like a diamond, but we're also multifaceted like a diamond. So there's so many ways to see the world. And so we have the 16 diamond tools of creative thinking.
There you go. All right, here we go. We got comments coming. There you go.
Ooh, Shakira says a dolphin. Ooh, that's a great one. There's a great TED talk about adaptability, and she uses the dolphin pod as her.
There you go. Great idea for. There you go. Love it. Keep them coming in. So right now we're gonna have a fun time with our guests. It's for our game. Stay tuned.
Now time for victory.
All right, so it's now time for a game called Pick 3. I got 10 questions, and you are going to pick the three questions that I ask you. Pick a number between 1 and 10.
Number 6 first.
Okay, 6. What else?
Oh, we'll go with number 3.
6, 3, one more.
And then number 10.
Number 10. All right, question number 6. It is, what is the one myth about your industry that you want to squash?
That only a certain amount of people are creative. Creative is a capacity we all have. It's a skill that we all can develop. And creativity, like I said before, isn't just artistry and singing and dancing. Creativity is your ability to create ideas that have value that's going to affect not just your life, but our life as well.
All right. Here's the next question. Let's bring this back up. You pick number 3. What advice would you give someone who is trying to pursue a career similar to yours?
Connection. Connection is key. The pandemic threw me onto LinkedIn even more than I would have been. And some of my best clients came in because someone watched a video on my LinkedIn and then just started talking to me. And then she wanted to bring me in to co-train with her. That would not have happened had I not been open to connection. So once again, the number one indicator of highly creative thinkers is openness to experience and also openness to other people. So really reach out and have something unique. Like intercultural creativity makes me stand out. What's your unique idea that's going to make you stand out?
All right. And the last one, number 10, is, what question didn't I ask if you were in my position you would have asked yourself?
What's the value of overcoming adversity and how have you used it to be where you are today?
And the answer is?
You might have heard it every now and then, but I actually am a stutterer. I went through years of speech therapy in elementary school, and there's even times I couldn't even say my own name because it starts with a hard consonant. And I struggled. I cried myself to sleep, but I knew I had a good message. I had a good idea that needed to get out to the world. So I practiced. I joined Toastmasters. I practiced in front of my students, and I overcame that. And I was ashamed that I stuttered, but I had to reframe the stutter to now I see it as a superpower. So now I share that story to let people know you can use your struggles to show people about your overcoming. Don't be ashamed of what you've been through. Use it as content to empower people to be their best interculturally creative self.
Nice. Okay, so here is another quick game we're going to play. I love playing these games with you. It's called Firestorm. I just rapid fire. Just throw some stuff at you real quick. And then whatever comes to your mind, you just have to say it. You can explain it if you want. You have like 30 seconds to explain why you decided to go with that. Are you ready?
Estoy listo.
Okay. I knew you're going to have fun this Friday. I just knew it. All right, here we go. Favorite ice cream?
Butter pecan.
Okay, favorite TV show?
A TV show. I don't watch TV, but I would have to say A Different World.
Oh, see, there you go. That's a throwback. Favorite musician?
I would have to say Miles Davis, because he said, I finally started to sound like myself, when he picked up the horn. So I want people to sound like themselves.
Okay, here it is. What is your hidden talent that nobody knows about?
Oh, that no one knows about, because I was going to say karaoke. People know about that one. that I hidden talent. Oh my god, that no one knows about. That's the tricky part. I am an I'm an excellent connector of Hebrew words. I dive into a Hebrew word and I look at the different layers of the Hebraic meaning behind a word and how it adds essence and character to the whole concept. So no one knows. My son speaks in Hebrew, and he's half Jamaican and half black. So we're an interesting group.
Okay, so then if that's the case, you ready? Jerk chicken or fried chicken?
Oh, jerk chicken.
See, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So before you get on your TED Talk, here's the most important question. What song are you bopping to get you hyped before you jumped on stage?
I would do "This Is Me" by the Showman on the Showman soundtrack. This is me. That one. Hey, this is me, right?
There you go. Well, listen, thank you for playing the game. But before we let you go, earlier in our conversation, you talked about a book.
Yes.
Let's talk about that real quick before we let you go.
Sure. I had $100,000 worth of debt on a teacher's salary, had no financial literacy, and I thought it was an injustice that someone with a UCLA degree and all of my schooling had no concept. I didn't really know how credit cards work. And I said, this can't be anymore. So I read every book. My husband and I got out of debt. There's even a video on YouTube of us paying our last student loan bill. You can check that out. Just type in Genein Ledford debt-free video. But then I said, I just can't keep this to myself. So I wrote a book called From Debt to Destiny, Creating Financial Freedom from the Inside Out, because your financial freedom first starts in your mind. You have to see yourself as free, and you have to see yourself as valuable, and then the first step goes from there. So I tell people how I got out of debt. I tell people the psychological background behind what you need to think about to do it, and also that your creative ideas have value that can also help you get out of debt as well.
All right. And then where can we pick up that book?
JeneinLetford.com, GENEIN Letford.com.
All right. So go ahead right there and grab it. Also want to let our listeners know that we give away special guests throughout the month. So if you want to get a special gift from the show or from our show, all you got to do in the chat right now is just type that hashtag CMJ Live. Do it now. Type it in the chat, and you will automatically be entered into a contest for later on where we give special gifts. And one of the gifts might be the book. You never know. We're always giving away special gifts. So if you want to join in the contest, Just type it in the chat right now. CMJ Live, hashtag CMJ Live. Type it in right now, and you have a chance of winning.
Yes,
All right.
and we have some fun things to do. So I'll talk to you more about that.
There you
I
go.
love this.
So here it is. Before we let you go, any shout outs you want to do? Anybody out there you want to say hi to? This is your opportunity. Go right ahead.
Forky, you got to start with the mama, right? Hi, mom, right? And just a shout out to people who are taking that jump. A shout out to my coaches. If you don't have a coach, get a coach. If you're looking for executive coaching, I'm here. But go get someone and go build your mastermind team. Shout out to my mastermind team, Sejal, Vaughn, Monica Montoya, who runs my company and everything. It takes a village, you guys. So get the right team around you. And hey, shout out to Charles. Thank you for allowing me to share my dream and my idea on your platform.
And now, listen, it was been fun, and I love guests like you that keep it open, keep it fresh, and people that love to bring props. That's why I love all the props in there. There you go. So, so where can we catch you? Where can we find you? Where can we catch you?
I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have a professional Facebook page. And if you really want to be my friend, you can be my personal Facebook friend too. And I'm on Twitter at my name, and also cafestrategies.com. CAFE stands for Creative Advancement for Financial Empowerment. So I just want to connect with you. Allow me to be a part of your mastermind, and let's do this together.
There you go. And before we let you go, someone just wants to say thank you so much.
Shakira, love it. Reach out. Let's see what your amazing gifts are.
There you go. A lot of smiles, a lot of faces. So I do love it. Thanks everybody for watching. And like I always say, you didn't have to watch, but you did. And I thank you. Be kind to somebody. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for